video. My name is Dolores Cano-Martinez, and today I'll be talking to you about Siri. This is going to be a video regarding more deep into what Siri really is. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about what is Siri, where Siri comes from, why can we talk to Siri, what technologies can you be using with Siri, the system of Siri, QA techniques and technologies, the three-step process of asking Siri a question, how conversations are generated with Siri, and the pros and cons of Siri, and lastly, what can you do with Siri? So Siri comes from two different softwares. The first software is called actually Siri. Siri was bought actually by Apple around 2010. The second software that Apple is using within Siri is called Nuance, and Nuance is basically another software that Apple uses to generate talking within Siri. How can we talk to Siri? The text-to-speech part is provided by Nuance, the company that I mentioned before. That's also using Apple. So a little background on Nuance is that Nuance actually brought up, it was like the creator of Dragon Naturally Speaking, which has been going around since the 1990s. So Nuance and the text-to-speech part is what generates for us being able to talk and recognize our voices with Siri. Technological devices can use Siri. So with Siri, Apple products are the only ones that can be using Siri. And Apple products such as the iPad 3, the iPad mini, the iPhone 4S, and the iPod 5G. And any devices before any of the products that I mentioned are not able to use Siri, just because Apple is always updating their devices. So if you have the iPhone 6S or something, you can still be using Siri. Just any products that are using the iPhone 3, you can't be using Siri within that. So the system of Siri. Siri has a variety of systems using. So the first system that Siri uses is Nuance, like I mentioned before, Siri, Apple, and iOS. QA systems is also another system that is also used within Siri. It is quality assurance, which is basically monitoring the software engineering using a variety of methods. And furthermore, to continue, it also uses Arctic ontologies, which basically gives data access to the databases that your iPod could be using, and it's basically able in access to get information of the contacts or pictures or applications that your device may be having. So within a question that you're going to be asking Siri, there are going to be three subcomponents of processing a question. An example could be asking Siri, where's the nearest restaurant in my area? The first thing that Siri is going to do is going to process the question. And this is going to determine the details of the question, the type of question, the answer to your question, and it's going to be developed in a sort of query way. The second is going to be the document processing. And with the document processing, it's going to be retrieving relevant pre-written passages from a set of pre-existing documents using the query that is formulated in the question process from within the first step. Thirdly, it is going to be the answer processing, and that's going to be extracting answers from the output of the previous component of the query. So, how are conversations generated with Siri? So you could be asking Siri, hey, can you take a note of this, please? Or you could be asking just what's the weather like today? So what Siri and the software is going to be doing is that it's going to be creating an audio file of what you asked, and it's going to be transmitted to Nuance, the software that as I mentioned before, that Siri uses. So the server is going to analyze what you asked or told Siri to do, and it's going to reply back to you. However, if you have very bad service or just Wi-Fi isn't working, then your answers are going to be congested into very short just answers back from Siri, and that's why it's always good to have good signal, and that's why it's always recommended to just have Wi-Fi. If you have an iPod device, that's why it's always recommended to have Siri, just because Siri won't work unless you have Wi-Fi to the system. So there are pros and cons also to Siri as well. The pros of Siri is that you could record, call, and email. You could solve minor little problem solving questions that you have. It's also good to be setting reminders for yourself, opening any apps. It's just very minor little things that Siri does and helps you to just save up time from your day, which is very helpful in the long run as well. But there are also cons to Siri. The cons could be of lack of functioning, such as mentioned before, like if you have really bad service, then you're just going to get really short answers from Siri. And there's also like some privacy issues with Siri as well. Like you can very easily, not easily, but if you're very into details, you can hack into someone's iPhone or iPod with using Siri as well. There's like little tricks here and there that just privacy issues that has. What do you do with Siri? With Siri, you can communicate with your friends, you can make phone calls, you can FaceTime, you can send text messages, you can follow sports, you can know what the weather is, the time, you can even solve math problems with Siri, you can send emails, you can set up reminders, you can set up alarms. There's many possible ways that you can work with Siri. Siri even has a personality of herself. Siri, you can ask like questions and she'll reply back to you and make jokes to you and ask you about your day. If you ask, how was my day? So there's very much an artificial intelligence that goes with Siri, and Siri is just overall a very helpful software device that saves you very much time and is very helpful. Round of how Siri works. Thank you very much for watching my video and have a nice rest of your day.